forgot to include this in my video, but I just really quickly wanted to ask for any feedback on my YouTube channel because I want to know what you want to see from me. It's a super quick survey that I have linked down in the description, so thank you in advance. That's not even really relevant, but you know what? It's relevant to my independence. Me saying good change is really weird. Change and good change is scary, but it's also good. Shh, don't tell. And also, sorry if the angle is off. I tried 3 separate times to get it right. And I'm usually so good at it, but I just can't figure out how to make it okay. So sorry about that. Hello and welcome back to another video. I am going to be updating you on my separation anxiety disorder since my mom left town this weekend for about 3 days, so I stayed home alone. If you have not seen my other videos on separation anxiety disorder, I will link them below and in the little iCard thing, wherever that is, so you can watch them if you would like. In some of those videos, I believe I talked about what separation anxiety is and how it affects me. For me, it's between my mom and I. I get super anxious anytime I am away from her because it's been since birth. I'm literally attached to her, and that hasn't faded out through childhood or anything. I used to get panic attacks in middle school because I was away from my mom, and every day in elementary school I would cry for at least half the day. And I would cry leaving her, and it was a struggle literally every day, and it's been a long time occurrence. But I mean, with high school, I've been going more independently, especially since I'm more able to walk now, and I no longer have to rely on my mom. So I've kind of been practicing for a little while, I guess, at becoming more independent slowly, and I'm learning how to rely on myself a little bit more. I have not stayed home alone for longer than 8 hours, ever. And the last time I was away from my mom for longer than 8 hours was in 2013, and I believe I did a story time about that, so it's probably in one of my separation anxiety videos. But essentially, I was extremely anxious the whole time. I would have been 13 at the time, I'm 17 now, so I mean, I guess, some time has passed, so it makes sense that it would be different now. However, I was super nauseous and anxious the whole time. I couldn't eat anything. I had to stay with my grandparents then, although it was at my house, so there was that level of comfort there because at least I was in the same space, so I could be comfortable enough, or so you would think. Even back then, I suggested to my mom that I just stay home alone because I knew I dealt with things better alone than with other people. As an introvert and someone who's socially anxious, I cannot handle that amount of social contact, even if you're sleeping for 6 hours. It's there's another person invading my space, but when I'm alone, I know how to be alone, and I know how to take care of myself, and I know what works for me. So those are some reasons why I think that this time, being left alone, I was absolutely fine. Leading up to the point when she left, I was a little bit nervous the day before. I kind of felt some of that extra attachment. But overall, I would say that I was pretty much excited, and I was more convincing her to leave than she actually wanted to because we both needed time alone. I was just up for the challenge of being alone. I thought it would be super fun, even though there's nothing else I would do differently. And by challenge, I thought I might actually be a little anxious, so I'd have to figure it out myself. I mean, I kind of felt a little off at first, in the night, I felt a little lonely, and I was scared to go to bed, because I'm just so used to having my mom around. I talk to myself all the time. I whisper to myself. Even when there's other people around, I talk to myself. I am too good at talking to myself. So it just felt really different, like something was missing, but it wasn't so bad, honestly. The next day came around, I'm I'm fine, this is fine. It's just normal for them, but for me it wasn't normal, and it was a really big deal that it was actually fine, and I didn't have to do anything to bring myself to a point where it was fine. It was just naturally fine. I didn't have to deep breathe or try any sort of anxiety lowering mechanisms or listen to any sort of special music. I was just fine. It was unexpected, but it was so nice. I understand how it can change situationally, but I've never had it where just a particular anxiety disorder no longer affects me. All the anxiety disorders I've had pretty much since I was born Like, even if it gets better, it's still there. Whereas with separation anxiety, it's like gone. Like, honestly, I feel fine and free, and it is amazing because I feel like I'm independent and finally capable to take care of myself and do basic things, because for so long, probably from 2013 to 2017, I have not been able to be independent. And that is such a problem for a teenager, because that's when you need to learn all your skills, essentially, to live. And that's when you become more independent and be able to go out and do things that you didn't before, and that's why it's supposed to be so exciting and you learn so much from it. But I'm kind of just catching up now. I washed the dishes for the first time. I've always previously been grossed out by like crumbs or little bits of food because it was like repetitive, and I listened to Arcade Fire while I was doing it. I'm like, this is good. This is fun. That's not even really relevant, but you know what? It's relevant to my independence. I'm essentially just no longer emotionally or physically dependent on my mom. She used to be the only one who could calm me down, but now I've kind of learned how to calm me down. I guess I've just kind of learned over the past few years how to be emotional by myself. Although this is problematic because now that she's back, I kinda wish she wasn't, which sounds terrible, and I don't mean it like that, I swear. I love my mother, but if I could choose, I would really love to just be alone. I want to live alone, and houses and apartments are so expensive, especially if you don't have like roommates to like split the rent with and the groceries and, you know, like the total cost of anything. But I just want to live alone. I don't even have a job. I need to get a job before I can move out and live anywhere. Now I have an actual desire to be independent and free, which I've never had before, because I've always been so afraid of everything. But now I'm learning to not be afraid because things are fun and sometimes just really good change. It's kind of concerning that I want to be alone even more now, because I already have social anxiety and I'm already an introvert and just like not wanting to be around anybody, even the people that I love. But it's also normal for a teenager to not want to be with their parents like as much as possible, kind of. And I guess I'm just kind of a late bloomer on that one because, like I said, I didn't really have the chance to before. So now that I can, I'm like, okay, I don't want to do this anymore. Alright, so that's pretty much my video. Thank you for watching. See you later. Bye. Oh no, I am hermit. I want to Kermit. I hate everyone. Separate me from my own two hands. I've killed so many times, but I can't save the world from the creatures that don't die. Kinda like the way you tell me, baby, please come home. I need you here right now. I'm crying underwater so you don't hear the sound. I have no idea if that was all the same song. I'm bringing back the finger dance. I should like do this and then like put my hands to my hips like I'm putting in my gun, finger gun.